I'm so sorry, Ruben.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Sandy.
Whatever you need, I'm here for you, bro.
Welcome to WatchMojo's Secondhand Cringe. Today we're looking at performers who expressed reservations looking back at their nude scenes. Number 10, Jessica Brown Finley, Albatross.
No. Are you 18?
Yes.
Can you prove it?
Being her first film, Brown went along with the topless scene, not realizing that she could say no. At the time, Brown thought she was going to be shot from behind, feeling naive in retrospect. Brown would bear all again the following year in Labyrinth, feeling more comfortable on that show's set. Discussing nude scenes in 2013 though, Brown stated, "It's not something I would do again." While Brown has since taken her clothes off in shows like Harlots and Brave New World, her first experience with on-screen nudity isn't without some qualms. Number 9, Emily Blunt, My Summer of Love. My Summer of Love introduced Emily Blunt to cinema. Discussing her early career, Blunt said there are some things she did at age 22 that she wouldn't do now, namely in the skin department. Blunt told The Telegraph that she's not so keen on doing nudity, feeling that it wasn't necessary most of the time. This was reflected a year earlier when Blunt starred in Sicario. The crime thriller originally called for Blunt to strip down again. Blunt protested against this, bluntly saying that her tits didn't agree with it. Co-star Benicio del Toro agreed that nudity wasn't essential to the scene, and director Denis Villeneuve honored Blunt's wishes.
I'm good.
You sure?
I'm good.
Number 8, Natalie Portman, Goya's Ghosts. For Portman, being naked wasn't so much the problem. Her issue was how the public responded to the nudity. With Goya's Ghosts, Portman felt the nudity was meant to be a dramatic scene and part of a story, so when screenshots of her wound up on adult websites, she couldn't help but feel angry, although she realized this was probably inevitable. As for Hotel Chevalier, Portman was depressed that half of the reviews focused on the nudity. Regret might not be the exact word that Portman would use, but these experiences drove her to forego graphic nudity moving forward. Number 7, Ben Stiller, Along Came Polly. Through his relationship with the eccentric Polly, Ben Stiller's tightly wound Ruben finally feels comfortable cutting a little loose. So comfortable that this rom-com ends with the happy couple walking into the sunset, with Ruben presenting his rear end to the world. Heading out of the theater, some wondered if Stiller used a body double. He didn't, although Stiller didn't even realize that was an option upon filming. According to Stiller, no one had bothered to tell him about the alternative. Stiller and director John Hamburg agreed that the scene would be cut if it didn't get a laugh, but apparently it did.
There's not a doubt in my mind. Okay?
Number 6, Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson, 50 Shades franchise. While Doran refused to go full frontal, he still had to show some skin. It wasn't the most pleasant experience, although Doran confessed that he felt awkward and exposed whenever he was in any way naked.
Christian, this is way too much.
Did you just roll your eyes at me?
Johnson had an even more revealing role as Anastasia Steele. Despite having a self-aware sense of humor about showing it all, Johnson acknowledged that the satisfaction on screen didn't reflect the atmosphere on set. Rather, Johnson said it was just sweaty and not very comfortable. Number 5, Mary Louise Parker, Weeds. As Nancy, Parker would take it off on more than one occasion. A particular scene rubbed her the wrong way, however. Toward the end of Weeds Season 4, Nancy soaks in a bathtub while confiding in Andy. Parker argued that nudity wasn't mandatory for this moment, dreading how the internet would respond.
Are you going to jail?
No. I'm not going to jail.
Director Craig Zisk and co-executive producer Roberto Benhabib disagreed, feeling it emphasized the character's vulnerability at this point. Parker ultimately went through with the scene, but walked away feeling bitter. She didn't feel any better with time, saying, "I wish I hadn't done that. I was goaded into it." Number 4, Helen Mirren, Various. Ever since starring in 1969's Age of Consent, nudity has been a prominent staple of Helen Mirren's illustrious filmography. Rarely has a decade gone by without seeing Mirren naked on screen at least once.
Pleasure's all mine.
As such, one would assume that Mirren has no issues with being unclad. On the contrary, Mirren has expressed her hatred of nudity on multiple occasions, saying that almost every intimate scene made her feel incredibly embarrassed and awkward. She singled out Caligula as an exception, because everyone was naked in that. Number 3, Sharon Stone, Basic Instinct. Compared to some other moments in this erotic thriller, Stone's leg crossing arguably isn't that graphic. It was how the scene came to fruition that infuriated Stone. Director Paul Verhoeven allegedly asked Stone to remove her white underwear, claiming it was causing a lighting problem. Stone didn't realize until a test screening that her crotch had been captured on film. Feeling that Verhoeven had tricked her, Stone slapped him before storming out.
I'm not stupid.
Stone eventually came to accept the scene and Verhoeven's decision. When Stone lost custody of her son in 2004, though, she felt the judge was being biased because of racy scenes like this. Number 2, Kate Winslet, Titanic. The Oscar winner is generally comfortable with nudity. That is, except for one infamous scene.
Jack, I wanted you to draw me like one of your French girls.
Winslet felt that she had something to prove when she was cast in Titanic at age 20. Years later, Winslet wishes that she had shown less flesh as Rose. Winslet is especially uneasy when fans present her with nude images of Rose, asking for her signature. She's all for autographs, but Winslet draws the line at signing that. If Titanic wasn't such a phenomenon, Winslet would probably view this as another nude scene. Since it might be the most widely seen instance of nudity in cinematic history though, we imagine there'd be some baggage. Number 1. Maria Schneider, Last Tango in Paris. At age 19, this French actress landed a leading role opposite Marlon Brando in an erotic drama from director Bernardo Bertolucci. While Maria Schneider had no misgivings about nudity going into the picture, she'd soon swear off ever working naked again. This is partly due to a controversial scene where Brando's character assaults Schneider's. The moment was sprung upon Schneider shortly before filming, leaving her feeling humiliated and crying real tears. The shoot took a toll on Schneider's mental health, nearly driving her to end her life multiple times. Outside of the trauma, Schneider felt Last Tango in Paris turned her into a sex symbol when she wanted to be taken seriously.
It's over. It's over.